Hey, Nettie here. As you can see, I hit record prematurely. Maybe you didn't notice, I don't know. But welcome. I ain't really got y'all quite straightened out well. But anyway, how y'all doing? Good, I hope. Need a little water right quick. But I am doing quite exceptional. But I wanted to stop in just briefly and deliver this message. Make sure that you write everything down. Write everything down. Sometimes spirit is doing something that your mind is not yet privy to. Sometimes spirit will have done a thing or introduced to you a gift and you are not yet fully aware of what's taking place. But when you write down everything, you write down these experiences, you're able to return to those. And often, spirit points you back to that event so that you can recall, or not even really recall, so that you won't have to try to recall it from memory, because often our memory does not serve us as well as we like to think it does, and certainly not in all measure of accuracy a lot of the time. So if you write it down, you're able to go back to it, or if you take note of it someplace, you don't necessarily have to always write it, but record it somewhere. So that way, when you're reminded of it, you can go back to it and see how it relates to whatever the current thing is that is taking place. This happens so often to me. And I cannot tell you the amount of times where I've realized, shit, like that's a whole gift. I had no idea. So it would probably occur, it might seem kind of tedious at first, but when you get accustomed to it and you recognize that your whole life should be built on an intention, then it becomes easier. The more you practice intention, and when you are looking intently for the discovery and adventure within your life, then you're always looking, knowing that any measure of things at any given time can be a sign, a clue, or a synchronicity for you. What we don't often realize is that spirit leaves us so many clues to rediscovering who we are and how we are, to discovering our gifts. Now, sure, spirit can give you the direct answer, but A, what fun would that be? And B, would you even know it if you heard it or saw it? Often no, because in large part, until we work to fine tune, hone in on this connection, we aren't aligned enough to actually pay a lot of attention to it. Unless somebody has brought you up in this way to be adeptly in tune to spirit, you don't know. So even if spirit came out and told you directly, hey, this is your gift, or this is a part of your gifting, you wouldn't know necessarily. And sometimes, um, at this point, with that in mind, it just makes more sense to go ahead and record it somewhere, because this is probably the most beneficial form of breadcrumbing you will ever experience. Because spirit leaves you these little trails, these little hints and clues and signs and synchronicities. And I'm joking about it, calling it breadcrumbs just for the fun of it. But yeah, it's kind of like a scavenger hunt, even. you're not really aware that you're looking for something, but really there are things we're always looking for that redirect us and return us to ourselves in all of our glory. We don't often realize the number of gifts we have access to either, because they don't register as something that you know. But if you're recording them, you can always go back and see later on, like how certain things fit together. You begin to see it unfold. So a lot of times I'll get on here and I'll tell y'all about some different things that I've experienced, and I legit record everything, like my encounters with insects and my encounters with birds, and what kind of bird, what color the bird was, what kind of insects it was, what that insect is usually known for, what that bird is symbolic or significance to, and whole nine. Because I know that there are clues in everything, and everything is for me. So, like I was saying, you're able to trace back and kind of piece those things together. And some of the things that I've experienced that I'll tell y'all about, I didn't know always that these were gifts. I didn't know, well, I am here. I am channeling messages, receiving messages from Spirit, and delivering them to you all. I didn't always know I could do that. I didn't always know that I was hearing from Spirit. A lot of times it just seemed like it was just my own thoughts, except I don't think like that. It sounded like me a lot of times. Visuals, sometimes it would just seem like weird little glimpses of stuff, and I'd be like, okay, where did that come from? Why did I see that? What are some other things? Just intuitiveness, like just knowing. I just have a knowing. I just know stuff. And I've been like that for all of my life, and I've never knew how I just knew stuff. A lot of people would always tell me I was a know-it-all. And at first, it was just from a more like, I took it as from more like an intellectual space, because I've always been hella smart. I've always been super studious, and just learning is just something I've always loved to do. I always wanted to know a lot about a lot. And that's just been my life. So I've always known a lot about a lot. So, that is one thing that I attributed it to. But then I started to realize that I knew stuff that I never studied. I knew things that I'd never previously been privy to, that I've never been exposed to, that I'd never looked into. I knew words. I knew the definitions of words that I'd never used or heard necessarily. I knew energy, like, I don't know this person, but I know this person. But it never registered me. I could always see, and I had the gift of foresight to know what was coming next with a person on the road. Like, I just get these visuals. I could see it taking place before it taking place. I never like I just it never occurred to me as weird, but it also never occurred to me as gifts. It never occurred to me that other people were not also functioning the same way either. Never. I legit thought this is just a normal part of life, until I began to talk to people, and more people were like, "How you know that?" And I'm like, "You don't know that? I mean, look, it's obvious. You didn't see that happen." And they like, "No, you said something about it before it happened." And I'm like, "Oh yeah." I couldn't ever really articulate or explain. I just be knowing. But yeah, all of that is gifts. That those are things that guide you through this life. There were things, even I've always had this deep connection to astronomy in the way of astrology. That happens every single time I'm talking about a significant message. The sirens of some kind. But I never knew what the connection was. I don't even remember when I was first exposed to astrology in that way, but I've always been had this connection to it. I have no idea, like I never knew why. I always knew that there was a depth of meaning to most things, even if I didn't know what it was. All of that said, I just wanted to give that bit about me so that you know the significance of recording and writing things down as they happen. You may get a phrase in your mind, you don't really know what it is or where it comes from or why you got it. Write it down. Even if it's something so much as to say, I've heard this, or for some reason this phrase popped up in my mind and I don't know why. Even if that's the entirety of it, write it down anyway. Record it somewhere anyway. You never know when it's going to come back and what it will be related to. And you will be both amazed, in awe, and enthralled by the fact that you were able to get that. Names, even glimpses of people, record all of your dreams in as much detail as you can possibly remember. Everything has a meaning. Nothing is for nothing. Colors, the dispositions, people's attitudes in dreams, the entirety of the dream usually means something, down to color of attire, all the things. Somebody, I know for sure that somebody is needing this assurance. Sometimes it can kind of make you feel really, really different. It can, if you're not careful. Don't drive yourself crazy with it. Don't be looking for stuff. Just let it happen. Let it flow, because it will flow. It will come every single time, whatever it is. And even if you can't fully verbalize or articulate how it is to convey this message, even in writing, just put it down the best way you can. Record it the best way you can. Whatever words you can use to describe what it is that you're experiencing, just do it. When you're around people, take note of how you feel around them. Even things like sometimes you are around people and you start feeling different in your body. You get different feelings and just these different little things that are happening within that are not normal for you. Pay attention to that. Write about it. Like, record it in your phone if you can. As soon as you can. You ain't got to be the person that's stopping in the middle of stuff like, hold on, y'all, let me record this. Or you could. You know, you get around people that know you well and understand these kinds of gifts, they'll understand. And won't think it's weird at all because they probably do the same thing. But until you get around that measure of soul tribe, then, you know, you just do what you can. You know, you can always just be looking like you're texting and you're recording what it is that you're experiencing. Like different things. So many different things go on to alert you to stuff. It's really like having a cheat code to life. I love it. Because Spirit will warn you about some stuff and you can completely get out of Dodge. Or you can stay and you can still navigate the situation in ways, or, you know, whatever the situation is. It ain't always bad. It could be good stuff. but you'll be prepared for it much of the time. But it's still writing it all down and recording it all. It's really just a measure in uh, aligning with it, accepting it, and fine tuning to it. You're growing with it. You're growing in it, and you're growing more toward it. That'll help you to continue in this way, in a more certain space. It gives you more confidence. It gives you more assurance. It gives you more certainty about what it is that you feel, what it is that you see, what it is that you hear, the energy that you resonate with. Like some of it is psychic ability, and everyone can do it if they pay enough attention. Everyone does do it to some degree, but not enough people are paying it any mind to actually be cohesively flowing in it. Also, there's so many gifts. There's so many gifts. You'd be amazed at what you have access to. Um, even even to the degree that you are able to speak to your loved ones that have transitioned to the other side. You have that measure of access as well, and some of you have probably experienced this already. What generally tends to happen is